Hey, this is part 2 of this video. If you want to watch part 1, there should be a link in the top of your screen right now. If not, let's get going. J-Raven Productions is a channel created by a much younger Jacob where he would basically just mess around with his friends and do simple sketches. Interestingly, a much younger Major Duncan can be seen in a few of these, among Jacob's other childhood friends, really highlighting just how long their friendship has existed. While it offers little more today than your average 12-year-old's first attempt at content, it serves as an interesting piece of history and demonstrates just how far Jacob has come. Never give up, kid. Maybe one day you too will be able to speedrun Disneyland, give yourself double carpal tunnel, and have friends tweet Vaporeon smut from your phone. Dream big. Genre Gambling was the former handle of what is now the Ace of Hearts Twitter account, and was simply Jacob's alt Twitter, where he would post creative updates to a smaller audience. Nowadays, however, this handle belongs to a private Twitter, seemingly owned by Jacob, following and followed by only 2 accounts, and pointing anyone who finds it to instead go to @Ace of Hearts instead. The meaning of the name is unknown. I personally believe it refers to Jacob wishing to try more styles of content, which he eventually did. However, this is a private account, so I digress. Let's move on. TSK, or the Shadow Kings, was a fake Smash clan started by Jacob and some of his friends in which they would pretend to be edgy kids and try to start beef with bigger Smash players. The scheme was fully outlined in a video Jacob himself made disclosing it all. They got away with it all undetected quite impressively. Long live Chaotix, your edgy teen spirit lives on in us all. Dr. Bustdown was the name of a Hitmon top Jacob obtained during his Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire randomizer he did with Jaden Animations for Thankmas. He became an unofficial mascot of the team and was heavily favoured by Jacob throughout the stream.
I am going to cry on stream if Dr. Bustdown gets given away.
However, disaster struck when he was randomly selected for release around the 3.5-hour mark. Though gone, his protege King Buster the Slow King arrived later in the stream to avenge the Doctor's memory, before dying himself, that is. Call the Vileplume was used in Jacob's Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu playthrough and, like Dr. Bustdown, served as an unofficial mascot for the team, even defeating Red and the Vileplume Master Trainer, solidifying himself as the strongest Vileplume in the land, leaving his fellow Vilepile members, Blimey and Slimy, thoroughly in the dust, striking fear into the hearts of trainers throughout Kanto. Manic2969 was a dummy Discord account Jacob created for the video Getting Every Character into Elite Smash. It was created in the hopes that people would message it after playing Jacob and this could be used for side content in the video, much to Jacob's disappointment though, nobody did. The Bald Podcast is a recurring joke on Alpharad Deluxe started by Altrive. The joke usually comes to light, understandably, when a character with no hair is on screen. It is also part of a further running joke that Alpharad Deluxe episodes follow a flowchart, with similar recurring topics such as their mutual friend Josh and his penchant for complaining. Though Jacob has expressed fatigue with the Bald Podcast joke over its run, he is still known to engage on occasion. PleaseBuyMyMerch.com is the URL of Alpharad's merch store. This site hosts all official Alpharad merch releases, like clothes, plushies, and various accessories. Ace of Hearts merch and physical music can be bought from here too, under its own section. In case it wasn't abundantly clear, this is a website I spend a little too much money on. DumbStupidShirts.com was the URL of the former Alpharad Plus merch store. This hosted several designs based off the running jokes on the channel at the time, and was, according to Jacob and Joe, priced at the minimum amount possible for the service it was hosted on, as not to overcharge for joke clothing. Again, it has since been taken down, which makes sense following the rebrand to Deluxe, but for a time it was the central hub for all things t-shirt with the word Plessy on them. Opening the DMs was a series Jacob did a few years ago with Major Duncan in which they did just that, open their DMs for fans to message in and make their best attempts at comedy. They had a separate Twitter for this, @OpeningTheDMs, but it has been inactive since about 2019. Side note, I, being a comedy genius, sent this to the account and was shockingly not featured. They probably just forgot to put the clip in. I get it, it's fine, honestly. It's fine, it's okay. In 2019, SmashCon was paid a visit by a mysterious man in a Spider-Man costume. He wandered the floor taking pictures with attendants until it was time for the Smashies. When Wizrobe was awarded the best pop-off, this enigmatic Spider-Man stormed on stage in protest, grabbing the mic and finally revealing his identity as none other than Alpharad, proclaiming that he and Joe Sniffy's pop-off following a loss after a double NES Infinite was far more deserving of the title. However, rules are rules, and though not taking the award, he certainly stole the show with the big reveal, and fit the part great. No Way Home 2, anyone? Throughout the Smash Bros. 4 DLC and Smash Bros. Ultimate rollout, Jacob often found himself striking very lucky with both his predictions and hopes for characters to appear. Characters Jacob hoped for, which at the time he believed were unrealistic, included Pyra and Mithra, Joker, and the ever-infamous Bayonetta. Beyond wishes though, when making predictions, Jacob successfully predicted characters from Ridley to Sora to even Minecraft Steve, leading to this now incredibly well-aged thumbnail. Throughout all these wins though, he still never saw Lin promoted from an assist trophy. Maybe next game, Jacob. Maybe next game. Alex the Nine is a mastermind, an artist among men, the undisputed king of children who make Super Mario Maker 2 levels. Alex is the creator of the aforementioned Minecraft The Way Home, but has many other masterpieces to his name, many of which would be played on Alpharad Plus. A now deleted tweet suggests a collaboration between Alex and Alpharad Plus may have been planned, but never came to fruition, so Alex continues to live on in godlike mystery. Never stop building those trains, Alex. Lil Nas X is the tag used by Jacob throughout the series of getting every character into Elite Smash, which took place on Alpharad Deluxe. The name likely owes its origin to the infamy Ness lives in on that channel, but Lil Nas X ties are mostly unexplained. I've been trying to think of a call me by your name joke, for a while now, like Jacob wanted to call himself by Lil Nas X's name, sort of thing. I give up. You get it. Let's continue. Wrong Way Joe was a comment that would begin to appear on many of Alpharad's Mario Maker 2 levels while Alpharad Deluxe were playing through them, with Joe holding the controller. These would, as it suggests, be placed along incorrect paths to guide Joe through Jacob's many labyrinths. The stranger thing though, is during their Endless Easy series, they would begin seeing Wrong Way Joe comments on random levels they came across, really showing the reach they had and the commitment of the fanbase. Lately Mario Maker 2 is a much less frequent feature on the channel, but if it ever returns, you know the fans will be there to show the way. Banana Soul is a joke from Alpharad Plus originated by Ellie. The joke came about during their Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz playthrough, in which drunken Ellie reacts to the boss of the level dying and having bananas leave his body by saying, "He's got a banana soul." In a later episode, she would even detail the process of obtaining a banana soul. The spelling of soul in this title is not a typo, and it comes from combining soul with Ellie's nickname, L-E. Now that's bananas. No, that's bananas. Alpharad has made some music videos for Ace of Hearts, starting with the Silver Lining lyric video where he wrote out the whole song in sticky notes and placed them on screen in time with the song. Much more notably, the entire Frozen in Time album had an accompanying music video short film, following Jacob's character Ace's journey through love, change, and emotion. I hope with future music endeavours we see more of these come, as they're always a great way to add further expression to the music. Ernie Gang was a collective Alpharad formed back in 2017 on VRChat. It was exactly what it sounds like, a group of people using avatars of Ernie from Sesame Street, after Jacob and his friends were looking around for good new avatars and stumbled upon that friendly orange face. They would go around to various servers chanting the name Ernie Gang, Ernie Gang, Ernie Gang, Ernie Gang, in an attempt to convert others to the ways. They certainly had their enemies, such as Firefox 1033932. God, what a name. The owner of a VRChat bar Ernie Gang raided, but remained unstoppable. The EG logo even received its own shirt in December 2017, but this is currently not officially available. Megalovania, aside from being the boss music for the Sans fight from Undertale, was a word Jacob would often tweet while drunk. In my favourite Alpharad video, the Ness amiibo drinking game, he attempts to do so too, but misspells it as Megalovania, signifying just how effective the titular drinking game was. However, he has gone on record as saying that the habit stopped due to the fans growing expectant of the tweet, ruining some of the fun of the joke. Side note on the topic of Sans, while streaming his reaction to Pokemon Challenge's reactions of his Nuzlocke, people noticed a Sans bookmark on Jacob's browser and asked him to click it. He did so, revealing it was a simulator for the final Sans fight, and proceeded to beat it for the first time live on stream. Far from a bad time, I'll say. Once upon a time, Alpharad ordered 2 tubs of mac and cheese. Not a great story, huh? Well, it gets worse. It would soon become clear that due to a bug with GrubHub, the order kept getting resubmitted, meaning Jacob would continue to receive multiple tubs of mac and cheese, and yes, get charged for each glitched order. Eventually, he was able to get through to customer support and get this fixed, and the extra food ended up in good hands, being donated to the homeless around LA, so it all worked out in the end. And hey, he even got a hit tweet out of the situation, so nobody really lost. Icarus, not to be confused with the kid counterpart, is a character from Greek mythology who, to summarise, made wings out of wax and feathers and flew too close to the sun, and they melted, acting as an allegory on arrogance and overconfidence. How this relates to Alpharad is his repeated reference to an Icarus complex he has, mostly through the Alpharad Deluxe Elite Smash series. This came about as he often goes for unnecessarily risky plays which can cost him an otherwise comfortable victory. He even got called out on this by Trolley Problem the Game of all sources, so maybe there's some spiritual tie there. Or maybe, just maybe, Alpharad was Pit all along? Alpharad can't read, you heard it here first folks! Someone call game theory! Dash's Antiperspirant joke refers to the following clip of Ultrive on an episode of Mario Party Superstars on Alpharad Deluxe.
Nope, I got Antiperspirant. You're coping. I don't sweat.
Since this clip's debut, it has become a running joke in Alpharad Deluxe's comment section to note that any video's highlight, regardless of the game, was Dash's Antiperspirant joke. I can see why, it's definitely a good joke, and not too annoying and widespread as some of the channel's past bits. Let me know what your favourite part of this Iceberg has been so far in the comments, by the way. For the sake of the narrative, I really hope it's this entry. Sasuke Doesn't Say Swears was a joke that came about back in the Alpharad Plus days, originally coming from a video titled Sasuke Doesn't Say Swears. However, as the joke continued and eventually became its own piece of merch, the limitations of Sasuke's vocabulary was changed to be less risque. I'm sure he doesn't say either, but selling a shirt with slurs written on it can't be too easy. Unfortunately, the shirt was eventually taken down for copyright violation and has since been lost to time. Ace refers to Jacob's Spotify profile, not to be confused with the Ace of Hearts page. This profile consists of a few playlists of music Jacob likes, and you can also see the artists he follows, including, of course, Ace of Hearts. Self-love, I respect it. He notably has a playlist called Tour Setlist 2 Missing, as of writing this, which alludes to a plan Jacob has mentioned occasionally of touring his music, and seemingly he plans to wait until new ones are released, or debut them live. I know if he ever does tour and comes across the Atlantic, I am stacking up tickets first chance I get. While on this note, the title can also refer to the fact that Jacob has repeatedly, mostly on How Did We Get Here, referred to himself as being on the asexual, aromantic, grey ace spectrum, but I'll leave that there as not to delve too deep personally. LGBTQ rights, by the way. Love is love. Goonie Fighter is a game Jacob and Joe stumbled upon in the video of them setting up their PS5. It's a tough one to describe, really. It has Roblox-like graphics, you run around collecting coins, and it's the pinnacle of entertainment on the PlayStation 5. There have been multiple documented interactions between Alpharad and Goonie Fighter since, namely on Twitter, but no further content has been made on the game. After all, you can't recapture that magic. If you're one of the 4 people who own a PS5, I'd give it a shot, either to have your life changed or to remind yourself that anyone truly can make a video game. In the music video for Ninja Sex Party's Dinosaur Laser Fight Level Up, try saying those words to your grandma, Jacob is seen as an extra in several scenes. Jacob has worked with Game Grumps several times recently, with the Cup Pong tournament being supported by Real Good Touring, and having Aaron as a featured creator, along with Aaron being invited to several of Jacob's gaming tournaments recently. This is a smaller one, but I'll be honest, as a kid who loved NSP music at 12 and who loves Alpharad content at 20, I just thought it was neat. Queen of Everything, track 7 of Ace of Hearts' Frozen in Time, was actually uploaded in its original form all the way back in 2015, 6 years before the album's release, on a channel simply called Jacob Raven IV. Obviously, it's in a much less produced state, and Jacob's singing voice is less developed, but it is nonetheless the same song.
The queen of everything is sitting on your throne.
Fans have been aware of this upload before Frozen in Time, so it was nice to see it revitalised and officially released as a great part of a great album. Just shows that no matter how old a piece of work, never give up if the passion is there. Plessy Fan 9 was, as the name implies, a notable figure in the Alpharad Plus fandom, sporting a green Donkey Kong profile picture and a love for all things Alpharad Plus. However, around the same time as the channel's rebrand, PF9 would change the name to Stutterbox and try and distance themselves from the old persona, and has since deactivated their Twitter account altogether. I wish them well in whatever they do. Another bonus fact, the rise of Plessy Fan accounts inspired me to make my own, named Plessy Slayer with a blue Banjo-Kazooie profile picture which I have lost access to, and I cannot find for the life of me, but if I do, here's a screenshot. I have no shame, I'm writing a 1,000-word long script about a funny internet man right now, are you fucking surprised? Plessy square root of Christ is the name of a Mr. Game & Watch amiibo trained by Alpharad. Sporting the teal colour, he appears in several Alpharad Plus videos against the hosts or against viewers in Smash arenas. Like all of Jacob's amiibo, it is a strong opponent. Watch out for his final smash or the tentacle will do things to you that will get this video demonetized, 2D or not. Alpharad's birth name is John, but publicly he always goes by Jacob, his middle name. That's all really. Good old John Alpharad. I have really nothing more to add. Let's keep going. August 11th, 2020 was the fateful day that Alpharad Deluxe co-host Joe Sniffy tragically died. Or so a random prophecy foretold. However, he was able to survive this day and actually continues to be alive to this day. At least I hope. Man, this would have to suck to rewrite. However, on this date, his hypothetical death was honoured with a day without an upload, before returning to form the day after with a fitting follow-up, All Might Dies. Rest in peace, Mr. Sniffy. You are still very much alive, I think. Alpharad Makes an Album is an album made by Alpharad. But not that one, this one. Uploaded to YouTube, SoundCloud and Bandcamp in May 2015. It is a collection of instrumental tracks varying in style and mood, and like Queen of Everything's original version, shows a long-running drive within Jacob to make music. This might just be me, but I see vague similarities between the track Crossing in E-flat major and the debut Ace of Hearts single Fall For You. Maybe that's just me though. Check it out and see if it sounds like your thing. Edgelito is the supposed name of Twitter account Supreme Writer PhD, the subject of the video essay writing accounts on Twitter. In the video, Jacob and his friend Todapoki find and attempt to mess with one of the accounts, which reply to tweets asking for help with essays. When asked for his name after some back and forth, Edgelito is the name provided, which, as Jacob shows in this video, is seemingly still fake despite his Gmail display name also being Edgelito? Edgelito eventually grows tired of the games, however, and ends up blocking Jacob. A sad end to a very fun little game. Heroin in the Sex Cave, aside from being my weekend plans, refers to a story Jacob recounted in the How Did We Get Here episode, The Alluring Divertisement of Scholastic Book Fairs. While at an arts camp, Jacob befriended some of the other people attending who would regularly smoke around him what he believed to be weed. The place they often went to smoke at this camp was a cave just off a nearby trail nicknamed the Sex Cave. Lord only knows why. Toward the end of his stay, he decided to finally join in and have some good old-fashioned peer pressure. After taking a hit, the others there reveal it was not weed that he had smoked, but heroin. This was actually Jacob's first experience with drugs, and relievingly, his last time with heroin. Despite the obvious risk and shock of it, it makes for a hell of a story. Scorpion Queen, the title of both a song and EP by Ace of Hearts, was originally going to be the title of the band's debut album, as can be seen in early tweets from the Ace of Hearts Twitter. The early tweets also depict several currently unreleased songs, but we will revisit that in a later entry. At the start of 2022, Alpharad Deluxe did a phase of imitating the old style of YouTube Let's Plays, playing games such as Happy Wheels, Goat Simulator and Slender, and making sure to cut the videos at barely over 10 minutes. To further the joke, after a few uploads, Ultrav would dramatically leave the channel and be replaced with Josh. This was done in a video parodying Ode to John, the video uploaded by Game Grumps announcing JonTron's departure and replacement with Dan. Being friends with Aaron, it's an interesting move to parody such a contentious moment in the Game Grumps history, but I'm sure there was little malice meant or offence taken. Just a little goof, no harm done. Spanx McDoodle is Jacob's very obscure and long disused Reddit account. He used it to engage with the community on r/AlpharadTV on occasion, calling for replay hut entries, replying to comments, and the like. This isn't his only one, also having actually-Alpharad, which has been used more recently, but still not in over 2 years. Unlike his Pokemon Legends Arceus Nuzlocke avatar, Jacob does not appear to be much of a Reddit boy. Brand was a temporary change to Jacob's Twitter account for Pride Month of 2021, which saw him change his whole profile's appearance to parody the rainbow capitalism approach many companies assume during June. The bio read, "Do you love Brand? Well, for this month, we love you, regardless of sexual orientation. Please buy our product and live an awesomely gay life." The change was, of course, not permanent, but it was a good bit of mocking towards commonly panned practice in corporate social media. The topic is also brought up in the podcast episode, The Annual Iridescence of Rainbow Capitalism. Go check it out. Re-listen to it. Become like me. Have all of this stuff memorized. Know it all. You can know it all. Succumb! Turtlenecked refers to one of the highlights of Alpharad Plus's run, which took part during their playthrough of Doki Doki Literature Club. During the episode Sayori's Turtleneck, they discuss turtleneck sweaters after Yuri is seen wearing one, and they begin to discuss r/turtleneck, which they check the top post of and find mostly pictures of Steve Jobs. At the end of this video, they come upon the infamous scene of Sayori's... to which Ellie exclaims, "She got turtlenecked!" ending the video on them all erupting in laughter, many viewers included. This moment even inspired the subreddit r/turtleneck to become almost a secondary r/Alpharad Plus. Needless to say, a moment for the history books. Fire Emblem Heroes is a gacha mobile game released in 2017 by Nintendo. Like most of its genre, it has plenty of microtransactions that allow players to unlock skins and characters easier. and as you may have guessed, Jacob is a big fan of the Fire Emblem series, to the degree where he has admitted on multiple occasions that he spent approximately $8,000 on this game, and was still far from completing it, as was his goal. Putting all the money from the Odyssey Supercut autoplaying to good use, I see. The Waffle House story from How Did We Get Here episode The Perennial Inhibition of Dr. Seuss recounts as Jacob, Rickles, and their friend Vicky attempt to eat some Waffle House after MomoCon in Atlanta, which sounds like it should be a simple task, but you wait. Stay with me here. Jacob orders Waffle House for the three of them, goes to collect it, but isn't allowed in by the employees, who make several gestures for him to leave. Jacob returns and tells his friends, and Rick goes back to try, then returns with the same story. So now the three of them go back and try to get the employees' attention the third time, to which one of the employees even makes a hand-to-neck cut-it-out motion. Several other people come and attempt to collect their food, but leave defeated. Eventually, one person shows up and goes to the back, is let in, and then leaves again shortly afterwards. At some point up to now, Jacob has called the police under grounds of theft, as they have paid for the food but have received none. Jacob, Rick, and Vicky go around to the back and confront the employees, but to no avail. They go back to the front of the building and the police arrive. The officer enters this breakfast space Fort Knox, and after discussion with the employees, sits down as one of them begins preparing food for him, specifically Jacob's order. Eventually, fully defeated, the three go to a nearby Waffle House, and are able to eat. Head back to the hotel, passing the original location on the way. When they reach the first Waffle House, though, they find it completely open for business. Packed out, and none other than Phil Visu dining right there. Closing the book on this Twilight Zone-esque journey. Moral of this story, as a fan who found Jacob during this story said, can't have shit in Atlanta, bro. Which brings us to the end of part 2. Thank you so much for watching if you have made it this far, and thank you for all of the amazing support that the last video got. Around 13,000 views, and I'm at about 500 subscribers as of recording this, which is really amazing, and I thank you all so much. Next part will be the last part, and it will be part 1, 2, and the remaining tiers all in one big video, so I hope you look forward to that. That is coming as soon as it can. Thank you again for watching. Here's some other things you can watch from me, and thank you again.